Start any place you're comfortable. Lie down if you want. I'm going to start seated. Might turn into laying down. And take a moment to feel the parts of you that are making contact with the floor beneath you or the mat beneath you. Cat orbiting around you. See, I got one too, Karen. White one to go with your black one. Anyway, relax a little. You stretch out your neck and your shoulders a little bit. And take control of your breath. Breathe in and out through your nose. You guys know how we do it, in and out the nose. Hey, picking at the mat. Since it's the two of you, it's a pretty small group of us today. I had a bit of a relationship with you. I got a thing in my head. And I don't know. Doesn't necessarily seem like the thing to share, but it was a year ago that Donna's sister passed away, and it's been a little, feely around here for the last day or two. So having a little of that this morning. I think all of us, know that feeling there in the heart, that heavy sadness. I'm not trying to bring that into class this morning, although I probably just did. One of the best things I know to do with that is to sit up tall, put your shoulders down, expand across the chest, and stretch that out a little bit. Breathe deep and steady, and here's the important part. Try to lift the corners of your mouth a little bit. But whatever's going on for you, the inside, or heaven forbid, the outside world, just notice it. Feel your feels, good, bad, or otherwise. Breathe your breaths. And let's hope those are good, steady, strong. Another thing that I find takes me out of a funky space a little bit is do some moving. So let's start with a couple of easy ones. Look up and reach your arms up overhead, just to the extent yours can do it. If they want to come up halfway, that'll be fine. You don't want your shoulders to get bunched up around your ears, your neck to get tight, your low back or your upper back to get weird. Try and kind of squeeze at the belly, squeeze the side ribs, lift the top of you just a little bit higher. Yeah, there we go. Let's make a side bend. Right hand down, left hand up, look up. Keep the left hip here rooted, not rolling up onto the side, but reach that left arm up and over. Inhale into the left side of you. Stretch it out a little more. Big breath, just to open the side body a little bit more. We're going to inhale up through the middle. You take your time and work with your breath, and then exhale, take it the other way. Left hand down, right arm up and over. Try looking up. And then breathe into this side. Stretch that out. And inhale to come up, to lift. And then we're going to twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand back behind. First, sit up tall, and then turn your chin and look back over your shoulder. It's the inhale that we sit up, the exhale that we twist. Let's try this one on the other side. Back to the middle. Inhale up. The right hand over the left knee. Left hand behind you. Inhale. Get tall. Sit up. Exhale. Look back. Twist deep. And work toward that for a couple of breaths. Back through the middle. Inhale up. And we're going to put the hands down behind the hips, palms down, fingers forward, lean back into your palms a little bit. Try to press with the hands, straighten the arms, lift the chest, lift the chin. If you can let your head fall back under your shoulders, do that. If it seems a little too risky for your neck, you just keep your chin up. Do what you can with this one. How about pushing the floor a little more with the hands? We're going to roll the shoulder blades a little closer together. If you'd like, you can try lifting your hips up, come up onto your knees. Get a little more bend out of it that way. Inhale, lift. We go one more time. Get up there. We'll lower it back down on an exhale, assuming you went up at all. And then inhale, arms up overhead. One more. Come forward with the hands. Maybe you walk them out a little bit. Take a few breaths to get your belly forward and round your neck and point your nose at the floor. Breathe deep. Another breath. Stretch the back of you out. And then hands back underneath you. We're going to make tabletop pose next. You can roll over your knees, or well, I'm going to do it kind of to the side. I think you guys know how tabletop works. Hands, wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Typically when we get here, we do cat and cow. I thought we'd do that this morning too. Inhale your nose up, sag your belly, lift your tail. And then exhale, cat pose, belly in, arch deep. And back and forth you'll go. Just a few of them, especially early in the morning like this. Take them slow and easy. I don't know if it's early in the morning, but early-ish. Spine warm up slow. Just jump in there too quick. Take a couple of more times through and then come back to neutral. Let's do the side-to-side thing together. We're going to press let's go hips to the left and look back over our right shoulder. C shape for the spine. Couple of breaths, stretch into the side body, twist it around a little bit further. Inhale brings us back to the center. Look between your hands, and then exhale, hips right. We look over the left shoulder. A couple of breaths to see what we can do on this side. And then let's connect that to breath. Inhale brings it to the middle. Exhale, hips one way and chin the other. Inhale into the middle and back and forth. Just a few times through that one. Again, warming up the spine, outer hips. Take it easy. Oh, let's see, one more. I think we started hips left. Hips right is the last one, at least if you're concerned with staying even or any of that sort of thing. And then back to tabletop, sort of neutral. Let's turn the hands around. Point your fingers back at your knees. To the extent that yours will do that, maybe spread the fingers out a little bit. Try to press the palm evenly into the floor or into the mat. So not just the heels of the hands, but up there where the fingers join as well. If you want, you could try leaning back or leaning forward, or I don't know, maybe make some kind of circles with the chest over the wrists. Maybe just breathe. Stretch out your wrists and your forearms. If you can, if it seems to you that you could twist them around a little bit further, you twist them around a little bit further. If it seems to you that you may have gone too far already, you don't have to go quite that far then. All right, let's keep the fingers pointed back toward the knees, but flip the hands over. So you're on the backs of your hands. You're gonna have to sit back into your hips, into your thighs a little bit more. The arms won't hold a lot of weight this way. And we get kind of the gorilla elbows going too. The arms sort of bow out to the sides. But same idea. Spread the fingers, press the back of your hand as evenly into the floor as you can. A little bit more straightness in the elbows. And stretch the wrists some. And maybe you lean back or lean forward or kind of go around in little circles on yours. A nice stretch for the wrists. One more direction you can go with the hands. You'll stay on the back of the hands, but point the fingers away from you. Spread your fingers. Press the entire back of the hand into the floor. Do it, kind of straighten your elbows a little bit. Maybe a little bit of rocking in this one. Just get a feel for it. Find out where your spots are. And then pick your hands up and shake them out a little bit. I'll tell you what, bring your knees together. Let's do a little posture of the monk thing here. Bring your knees together, cross your feet over one another. Sit back onto your heels. There, we can pick the hands up. Rest them a little bit. Hands wherever yours are comfortable, in your lap or on your knees, maybe next to you. I don't know, you can put them up in the air if that's when they're comfortable. Close your eyes, sit tall. Reconnect to breathing deep and slow. Oh, wait a minute. It's a new month. Oh, we're way behind on our office work. I don't know that we've even got a new posture for this month. We do, it's a mystery to me. So I'm going back to last month's posture. We're gonna do lion's breath at least one more time. I'm imagining by this point in the thing you know how it works, but just in case you don't. We make a big inhale through the nose, and then the exhale comes out the mouth with a little bit of noise, maybe just a sighing, kind of yawning exhale, or maybe you growl with it a little bit. But the fun part is you put your tongue out and try and touch it down to the tip of your chin, and you also bring your eyes up, look kind of right between the eyebrows into the third eye there. All on an exhale. All right, so I'm going to do 5, and I can't hear you or anything, so maybe you do, maybe you don't. Big inhale through the nose. And number 1. right, I got one more time. And then close your eyes and sit in that for a moment. Be still and feel where it feels. Tends to make a little tingly across the chest or the shoulders, maybe into the back, down into the belly. Maybe a little tingly in the head, a little spinny. Just breathing. Powerful thing to do. All right, we're gonna make our way back into tabletop. It's just hands and knees pose. Let's get right up into downward facing dog. Take your time getting there. But hands forward a little bit, spread your fingers, curl your toes under, pick the knees up, hips back to heels, and then we straighten the legs. Walk your downward dog out a little bit, warm it up. Bend one knee and then the other. Sway a little side to side. Spread the weight across your hands, like we did in that wrist stretch. You don't want to just dump into the heels of the hands. You want to be pressing with the fingers as well. In those places where the fingers meet the palms. Lower your heels, lift your hips. Press back a little bit deeper into it. Let's come on back up to the front. Let's come on up to the front. With an inhale, you kind of walk your feet up, just between the hands there, close enough. Hands come to the shins, lift your gaze, look forward, make an inhale, and then exhale. Hang over your legs. We're going to spend a few breaths at this one, letting the back of the body stretch out some. Relax your neck and let your head hang. Keep some softness in your knees. Maybe some space between the feet too. Yours works better that way. One more big breath in the nose and out. And then with an inhale, you're going to unroll your spine and rise up to standing. Let's have a couple of breaths there too. Mountain pose. So be tall, arms up, look up, a little lift, and make yourself as tall as you can be. Push with the feet, squeeze a little with the belly. Keep your shoulders down. One more breath, get up there. Then we're going to come to equal standing pose, hands in front of the heart. We breathe. Come back to, we never did do that at the beginning, did we? Well, let's do it now then. If you'd like, you can set an intention for your practice, maybe for your whole day, right here in this standing place. And then we're going to see about making a little sun salutation. I'm going to keep it basic. Sun salutation A, you've both done it a few times before. Keep it basic so that you can add in whatever it is you want to do today, a little twisting or a little side bending or something. So the fundamentals are inhale your arms up and look between your hands, and then exhale, fold yourself in half. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, hands down, step back. Probably knees down, chin up. We'll keep the elbows in, and then lower down with an exhale. And then upward dog, straight arms, look up, hips forward, and downward dog. Toes under, hips up and back. Make 5 breaths in downward dog. And if you know this one, I expect you do, then you can take off anytime you want at your own pace and move through it a time or two. I'm going to talk through it at least once more, just because that's how I do it. But you don't have to wait for me. As I said, keep it simple so you can kind of get your own thing going. Come forward with an inhale. Fold into an exhale. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, we're back in equal standing pose. Be with your intention and your breath. And then off we go again. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Half vinyasa. Now you do it at your pace and with your breath. And in case I haven't been clear, add in a little side bend or a little T-twist or some three-legged dog or some sort of thing there. We're going to do a couple of more. At least I'm going to do a couple of more. You can make child's pose or some resting thing anytime you want to. Remember, you don't want to do it one breath, one movement. You want to slow it down a little bit. Spend a few breaths in each posture. That'd be acceptable. All right, now one more time. Let's meet in child's pose. Next time you're in downward dog, turn into a rest pose. When you finally get to your rest pose, rest a little. Back to breathing deep, settling into the body. We're going to work our way back up to standing at the front of the mat. Step one, come back up to tabletop. Step two, pop it back up into downward dog. And then it's just the back half of the vinyasas. Bring your feet forward, come halfway up, that's an inhale. Exhale to hang over the legs. Inhale, we rise. Arms up, palms together. Back to standing pose. Oh, we lost Doreen. She fell out, fell asleep on me. Take your feet 6 to 8 inches apart. Oh, just taking your time coming out of child's pose, that's fine. We're going to do a little hamstring stretch. So, as I said, feet about hips width apart, hands to the hips. Look up and inhale, lift, get length in the spine, and then exhale, fold yourself forward. Try to put your belly towards your thighs. You reach down and get your big toes with your first two fingers.
Bend your knees if your toes are too far away. Inhale, look forward, long, flat back. Exhale, belly on the thighs. We look between the legs. Bend your elbows. Push the floor with your feet. Take deep breath. You can stay with this one, or you can try moving on to the next one, Padhastasana. You lift the front of your foot, slide your hands underneath. Try to get your toes all the way up to your wrists, your fingertips all the way back to your heels. And then again, inhale, we look forward. And exhale, belly on the thighs. Do some breathing in this one. Free your hands or let go of your toes or whatever you're up to. Hands come back to hips. Inhale, we come back up to standing. Hands back together in front of the heart. All right, well, my favorite one to follow that one with is the yoga squat, malasana. I can't remember if you guys are good at that one or not. We're going to find out. Heels a little wider than the hips, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale. And then exhale, bend into the knees. Let's see about sitting down between the heels. Let's see, hands together in front of your heart to press the knees out wider. Try to sit taller. Breathe. And if it's a tough one, you need to have a little something to sit on, you could. You can also take breaks and kind of stand back up and shake it off every now and again. Otherwise, I'm just going to hang out here for a few moments, let it work its magic. Compressing the fronts of the hips, shortening those up, stretching the heck out of the backs of the legs, or at least the backs of the glutes, that is. One of the natural seats for a person, this posture right here. Let's make a little twist out here. Everybody's still holding on, right? Yeah. Left hand onto the floor, just out in front of your foot. Right hand goes up onto the knee. Big inhale, long spine, and then exhale, look up over your right shoulder. You can use the right hand to sort of press against the knee a little bit and pull the right shoulder back. You can also use the left shoulder over here against the inside of your thigh to pry yourself around a little further. Couple of breaths. Think longer on the inhale. Twist a little more on the exhale. Let's do it on the other side. Back through the middle. Right hand goes out in front. Left hand up onto your knee. Big inhale. And then when you exhale, see about twisting into this side. Again, I'm pushing just a little bit with the left hand to give me a little more, traction, a little more pull around. But just for another breath. And back through the center. Let's get the heck out of this thing. Come on back up to standing. Push the floor. Step your feet back into the middle. Let's go hands to hips. Shake mine off a little bit. Oh, we're going to have a little balancing, right? Going to put the weight into the left foot. Let's pick the right knee up, say height of the hip. Just hold it up out there. Get your balance for a breath or so. When you want, if you want, make some circles with your ankle. 3, 4, half a dozen times around one way, and then About the same thing around the other direction. All right, how about knee as high as yours goes? Pick your toes up too. Step up there. Oh, it's bouncy, all right. Don't hold your breath to hold your balance. How about this one? Hands to the thigh or the front of the shin and pull the knee in even closer. Stand even taller. If that hasn't knocked you down yet, how about try to take the tip of your nose to the head of your knee? All right, we're gonna make it tree pose. Sole of the right foot, just there inside the left thigh. You keep yours up the top or slide it down a little ways. It does kind of change the physics of the thing where you put your foot. And let's see. Heel up, toe points down, knee draws back. If you manage to get the balance and you want to take it further, arms go up, gaze goes up. I'm not sure mine's going to make it. Oh, yeah. See what you can do about getting taller, bigger. Nice save. Oh. All right. Hands back down to hips. Gonna bring the right knee around front. We'll shake that out a little bit. Maybe shake the left leg out some to rest that one. Let's see, what do we do on the other side? We put the weight into the right foot and we lift the left knee about the height of the hip. Hands are on hips. And we just get a couple of breaths there to see how balance is going to go on this foot. And then we did circles with the ankle. A few times around one way. A few times around the other. And then we bring the knee up as high as we can get it. Toes too. Work at this one for a couple of breaths. It's supposed to be hard. Well, that and the whole balancing thing too, right? See everybody wobbling. This looks like the good side for everybody this morning. Hands are going to come to the back of the thigh, the front of the shin, wherever they can reach, and you're going to pull the knee in a little closer and up a little higher. And again, if that's not enough for you, see if you can bring the tip of your nose down to the head of your knee. All right, some variation of tree pose. Standing on the right foot, left foot along the inside edge of that right leg. Heel up, toe down, knee back. And if you can make yourself taller, get up there. Last breath or so, last chance to give it another push. Oh, here goes mine. All right, enough of that one. Back down to standing, and again, we kind of shake it off a little bit. All right, one more thing. Last little bit of standing stuff here. Back up to the front of your mat. We're going to pick the right foot up and step way out wide. So you're going to turn kind of sideways. Get your feet parallel with one another. Most of us, that means roll the heels out a little bit. Hands to hips. Look up. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. And then we're going to fold ourselves in half. And if you can get your hands to the floor, do that. If not, you let your arms dangle. Relax your neck and let your head hang. If your hands do get to the floor, then you try to get your knees straighter. Push the floor. Use your hands to walk back a little further. Keep trying to get the top of your head a little closer to the top of your mat. A few breaths to work into it. Take some of the pressure out, hands back up to that leading edge of the mat. We're gonna take the left hand over either to the right foot or close, and the right hand up toward the ceiling. Look up at the right hand and make a twist out of this thing. So twisting, but don't miss the fold either. You can get the top of your head a little closer to the top of the floor. That's a thing. Enough of that. Hands back down, just gonna switch sides. Gonna take the right hand over toward the left foot. And with an inhale, lift the left hand up. Look up at that one. And breathe. And fold. One more breath. Get the top of your head a little lower. Hands back into the middle. All right. Hands to hips. Come on up with an inhale. Since we're here, hands together behind your back. Interlace your fingers. See about pushing your palms together. Roll your knuckles down. Chin up, chest up. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. And hands up off of the hips. If yours do that, stretch your shoulders. I'm thinking you know this one. It's not like we don't do it all the time. Let's do the arms the other way. Put your hands back down. Inhale, come up. Switch your grip around. Put the opposite thumb on top. And then try the same maneuver. Palms together. Roll the shoulders back. Chin up. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold in. And see what your hands will do on this side. Or what your arms, your shoulders will do on this side. Hands back down to hips. We're going to come back up to standing again. That's probably enough of that. I'm going to stay sideways on the mat like this. I had a bit of an inspiration. Do what you can to bring your hands down, bend your knees, get them down too. So you're going to end up sort of tabletop, but sideways on the mat, kind of across the middle. Try and get you into frog pose, which is everybody's favorite thing to do. Work into this one just easy. Don't try and kill yourself with it. Get your knees up to the sort of the front edge of the mat there, and then knees out a little bit wider, like you were going to do child's pose, but the opposite direction with the feet. So the toes go outward, and you want your heels outside of your knees. Here's the hard part. Start to settle the hips back, again, like you were going to do child's pose and sit back between the heels, but you're probably not. And if you can bring your forearms or your chest or something down to the floor, you'll do a little of that. You can try moving your knees around a little bit. Get your wrists, your ankles into just the right spot. Take a few breaths. See what you can find in this one. Most people, not exactly a comfortable thing to do. It's a good spot for me to remind you that you're in charge of the intensity, in charge of the difficulty. So don't try and break anything off. Just find some discomfort and see if you can't overcome it. Settle right back in. That's enough of that thing. Hands back underneath you. Might take a second to figure out how to get your hips to come back out of that. Gonna bring the knees back together underneath you. And well, since we're here sideways, I'm gonna do gate pose sideways too. You're gonna extend your right leg out to the right side. Come up onto your left knee. You want that? Let's see. Right toes to be kind of in line with the left knee. The outside of your foot's, I don't know, parallel with the short edge of the mat out there, or relatively close to that.
Hands to hips, tuck the tail, pull the belly in. Inhale, arms go up. And exhale, if you can make a little side bend over that right leg, you could. The arm down onto your leg. I don't know, for some reason mine seemed like it needed to go up and grab my left wrist today, so that's where it went. Inhale back up. Just switch sides. We're not going to do that. The side plank thing. So you bring the right knee down and jump the left foot out there. We're going to rise up and stand on the right knee. Again, get your line across there and get your foot just right. Hands to your hips, tuck your tail, pull your belly in, stand tall. Inhale takes the arms up. Exhale, we bend to the left. Inhale up, hands down. So tell you what, come on to your bottom. I know it lasts, right? Let's get right onto our backs. We'll come back up for some seated later, but for the moment, we're gonna lie down. And just lie a moment, rest, breathe. Sink back into the body. Calm the thing down for a moment or two. It's not Shavasana time or anything yet. Don't get that comfortable. We're going to do a little back bending and make some bridge pose. So you're going to put your feet on the floor so your knees point up, hands at your sides, your palms face down. Well, you guys know how to make bridge pose. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to try and get you to do 5 breaths. Lift up on the inhale. And every time you inhale, you'll lift a little bit more. And you do the counting. So maybe you get a few more than 5, or maybe a few less. But something approaching 5 or in that neighborhood. And then it's an exhale that lowers us down nice and slow, 1 vertebra at a time. When we hit the floor, we rest for a breath, in, out. And then the next inhale, lift. And make 5. And then rest for a breath and make 5 more. There goes back down. After you get all of yours, say all 15 of yours, but however many it is you're going to make, after you get your 3 sets, you're going to pull the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around. Curl yourself up into a little ball. Maybe roll around on your back for a few breaths. If you're still back bending, no worries, you'll catch up to us. We're going to rock forward and backward. Bring ourselves up to our seats. Extend your legs out in front of you. Heels hips width or so apart. And use the hands to pull a little of the flesh up from under the sit bones and get them plugged in. From the waist, lift up with an inhale, up. And then fold yourself forward. See what you can do in this seated forward fold. If you can grab your toes, that'd be great. If it's, outer edges of your feet, I suppose that'd be a little further. It might be more like the backs of your knees or something down there. Work your belly towards your thighs. Try to get your tailbone poking back behind you. Take a few breaths and see where you can go in this fold. Activate the thighs by pushing the heels away, backs of the knees into the floor. Let go of your toes, back up to just seated vertically. Where we at? I got time. Not sure what I want to do next. I know. We're going to take the the right foot back outside the right hip this way. You're kind of on the top of your foot, the heel more or less pointed up. Little space here between the legs. And here's a little trick for you. We're going to bend the left knee and put that foot on the floor. So the knee's up. So both knees are bent. One of them kind of shin on the floor. One of them, the shin is vertical. This left foot, turn a little bit. You can see what the heck I'm doing. Left foot goes a few inches away from the right knee. You want, again, sort of a hips width thing. And this heel could be in close, or it could be a little further away. If you can wrap your arms around your shin, maybe behind the thigh, something like that. And then we sit tall in that for a moment. Trying to keep this right hip sinking down into the floor, not rolling up, lifting it. Oh, we're going to get a visit from Charlie. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Just came in to see what we were up to. And there he goes. Sit a few breaths. And see where you get in this half hero's pose. Then it seems like a pretty nice setup for a twist to me. So we'll take the left hand back behind. And the right arm either goes across the left knee or maybe just kind of wraps around it. Make your spine long, sit up tall with an inhale. Twist in and look back a little further with your exhale. Again, right hip, it's the one we're kind of sitting on the heel of. Keep that thing pressed down, firm. See if you can't twist a little further. Try, what are you up to? All right, unwind yourself, get back out of that one. Let's twist the other way. Right hand back behind you. Take your left hand across to your right knee. Inhale, sit up tall. See about looking back over the right shoulder. See how it works on this side. Again, sit up, long spine when you inhale. More twist when you exhale. All right. Back through the middle. Again, the right knee's going to stay bent. We're going to extend the left leg out. Still a little gap here between. Now, activate your foot. Point your toe up. Push the back of your knee into the floor. Thigh engaged. From the waist, we lift. Inhale up. And exhale. Come forward in this one. And like we did with both legs forward, the idea here is to get the belly button to come forward, the center of the chest to come forward. Think about making your spine long and flat in this one. Maybe chin up. Keep the chest drawn back a bit. You're feeling it. Stretch your left leg. Keep your right hip rooted. Breathe. All right, back up to seated. We're going to unwind the right leg. Extend that one out front. I don't know about your knee. Mine always needs a little bit of shaking out after all of that. And then let's see if I can remember what we did on the other side. First, we bend the left knee.
heel goes outside of your hip. The toes end up sort of pointed back. A little space here between. We started with the knee bent and the sole of the foot on the floor. Heel some comfortable distance away. Arms wrap around. We sit up tall. We try and keep this hip down in the floor, not leaned over to the side there. Maybe push a little bit with the right foot. Get a little more oomph, a little more lift. And then we made this into a twist by taking the right hand back behind and the left arm either across or around the right knee. Lengthen out with your inhale. Twist a little deeper with your exhale. Let's try to twist the other side. Bring yourself back to the middle. Left hand behind, right hand across to left knee. Long, sit up. And then exhale. Twist about. Back into the center. We extend the right leg out. And we're going to do the fold over thing. So, and inhale, lift up. And exhale, come on forward. So there's a couple of ways you can go about making most of these forward folds. Generally speaking, I'm going to encourage you to try and keep your back sort of long and flat, but you could definitely round over and put your chin down, stretch the back of your neck kind of thing. But my cueing will usually be belly forward, chest forward, shoulders back, long spine. The breathing seems to me to be the important part. So maybe we focus on that a little more and a little less on exactly how it is how we're working it. That's enough of that one anyway. Back up to seated. Unwind that leg. Shake that one out a little bit. Let's go soles of the feet together. Knees out wide. There's another one you can play around with a little bit. You might want your feet, your heels out a little further away. It will make it a different stretch. Or you might want yours in a little closer. It will make it a different thing. A few moments of sitting up and making the knees wide and breathing. Again, we're trying to get the spine long and straight, sort of flat. Breath helps with that. You could stay seated like this and just work on getting your knees wider, stretching the inner thighs out some. Or you can start to come forward with your belly, center of the chest. And again, you could try and keep the spine long, flat, straight. You could round into yours. You could also kind of do a combination. Start off by lengthening, flattening, working at it, and then get a little more passive and round in for your last few breaths. Last couple of breaths. I'm rounding into mine at this point. Come on up to seated. We're going to do the same leg position, but laying on our backs. You might need to straighten your legs out to get there. Or you might be able to just put your hands back and lower yourself down into it. Like we did seated, you could draw the heels in close, or maybe you send them a little further away. Maybe you play around and try a little bit of both. See where your spot's at today, how you want to do it. You breathe. Oh, I kind of got into my own space on that one. How's yours? How's your breathing? Where's your mind go? Yeah, mine just wandered off on me for a minute there. All right, we're going to turn this into constructive rest pose, which is kind of the opposite of what we're doing now. The knees go together and the feet go wide instead of the feet together and the knees wide. So bring the knees in and walk the feet out. Your knees kind of cave in, kind of collapse into the center. If you want to windshield wiper it a little bit at first, kind of one leg at a time, pull it in and across. You can do some of that. Mind your breath. Feel what you're doing. Don't wander off like me. Stay in yourself. Last couple of breaths. Maybe you push the knees toward one another a little bit. Maybe you make the hips a little bit lighter, as if you were going to lift them up off of the floor. Maybe not. Let's get upside down. Walk your feet back in underneath your knees, and then exhale, draw your knees into your chest. Maybe give them a little hug, wrap them up a little bit. How about candlestick pose? Hips to the floor, heels toward the ceiling. If you want to elevate a little bit, support your hips with a block or your hands, or get under there. A little something, that's just what you'll do. Find a version of this that's reasonably comfortable for you. Hold the legs up. And breathe. And breathe deeply. Slowly. Deliberately. But easy. All right, if you got something underneath your hips, get that out of there. Let's do a little happy baby. Knees out toward the armpits. If you can reach up and grab your big toes or the outer edges of your feet and point the soles up at the ceiling, that's what you do. Rock a little side to side. Shake that off a little. I got another minute or two. I was going to tell you about grab your big toes or the outer edges of your feet. Let's make Supta Konasana. Legs out into a, well, as wide as yours will go. But still holding on to your toes, the outer edges of your feet. So maybe your knees don't get straight. Maybe your heels don't get quite as wide as you think maybe they could. Find that wide-legged stretch out there. Breathe at it a few breaths. All right. Same thing, but legs together. Last little stretch at that. Let go of your toes and lower them down slow. The heels, that is. Keep your knees straight. Maybe even point your toes. Legs get heavy as they get close to the bottom. A little belly work there. When your heels hit the floor, let's do fish pose. Ooh, let's do it a little bit fancier today. Usually we do it with the legs straight. You can do it that way. Do it the way we usually do. Or if you want to try it fancy with me, cross your legs like you were, going to sit. And then come up onto your forearms and your elbows. Make fish pose this way. Or like I said, I'm going to do it like we usually do, legs straight out in front of you. That'll be okay too. We're trying to arch the back here. Lift the chest. Reach the tailbone for the back of the head. And then at last, it's resting time. Take yourself onto your back. Be comfortable for a few moments. I'm telling everybody one of the advantages to home practice is, oh, you got blankets and pillows aplenty around there, I've got. So maybe a pillow underneath the knees, or elevate your feet, or make yourself comfortable. And then a few moments of letting go of controlling your breath, letting go of controlling your body, letting go of thoughts, trying to control the past or the future. Just relax, rest, be still for a few minutes. I'll stick around and wake you up before it's all over, but you got a couple of minutes. Time for me to refill my coffee cup.
Time to start making our return journey back onto the mat, into yourself. Be aware of your breath. Add little movements back into your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe wiggle the tip of your nose. If you want the good morning stretch, it's arms up overhead along the floor. Bring the legs together, point your toes, reach with your fingers, and great big inhale through the nose. And great big exhale through the mouth. There's more of those if you want more. Help yourself to them. When you're ready, draw yourself back up to seated. And we'll close the circle by starting or finishing where we started, at least where I started. I think I told you guys to be wherever you were comfortable. Sit tall, firm, but not too effortful, not too much squeezing, not too much working. You want your shoulders to be heavy, your neck to be long, chin up just a little. Lift the corners of your mouth just a little. Think of someone or something that's dear and precious to you. Again, back where I started, something that kind of gets you right there in the heart. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart, seal that in, bow your chin, and be grateful for that precious person, that precious thing, that precious experience. Be grateful for that precious feeling. Lift your chin, and lift your heart, and let your light shine. The light is the love, and the light in me sees the light in you, and the love in me bows to the love in you. Thanks for joining me this morning. Namaste. Thanks, gang.